In the last two lectures, we've looked at how you manage your project and how you deal with finances in your project. This last part of the lecture is dealing with how you market your project and how important marketing is to engineers running projects. But first of all, I'd like you to put yourself in the shoes of Dilbert and to see if you actually are that person who feels that marketing are all about fluff and bluster, whereas engineers deal with the real facts of life. Well, this original file set was put together by Paul Younger, but I did say before that I'm kind of an accountant's worst nightmare. Well, it's more than that, because I'm also a marketeer's worst nightmare, because I've actually spent a lot of time studying strategic marketing for high technology projects, and I did it as part of my MBA thesis. First of all, let's look up the objective of marketing to understand some of the principles, what marketing really is, and how to use marketing in extending your engagement with your projects out to the public and also to any other stakeholders. So let's talk about marketing as a definition first of all. And many people confuse marketing and selling, and the two are entirely different. Marketing is the process of engaging or communicating the value of a product or service to a group of customers, to a segment, for the purposes of selling the product. Whereas selling is transactional. I sell you a pint of milk. I don't sell all of you a pint of milk. That would be many transactions, but I sell each of you 1 pint of milk individually. So selling is a transaction between two parties, whereas marketing is evaluating the total market for a particular product, be it an iPhone, be it a power station, be it a new bridge. Stripping marketing down to its very basics is fundamentally about identifying the right product, putting it in the right place at the right price, and promoting it to the right sort of people, i.e. the people who are going to buy it. So marketing is not only about advertising. Advertising is part of marketing and it's a subset of marketing, but it is not completely marketing. And to be really successful, a marketing team must be involved with product design, product placement, and pricing strategy, all of which will be the responsibility of the primary company. In a past life, in the semiconductor industry, I've actually occupied the role of technical lead or marketing lead on some of the projects, because I had the understanding of what the customer wanted and what they would like to see as a product, and could combine that with the technical limitations of what I could do as a design engineer. So let's look about the 4 Ps, and this is something that's promoted by Michael Porter back in the 70s. And the 4 Ps are product, place, price, and promotion. They're also known as the marketing mix, and it's how you mix these 4 different aspects of marketing that define your marketing strategy for whatever product you're trying to promote. I'm going to use a somewhat crass example of 4 Ps, but here we have an example of all the exams for all the 4th year engineers in an envelope on my desk. If I was talking to a group of medics or a group of chemists, this would have no interest to them whatsoever because they're not engineers. But I'm speaking to a bunch of engineers, so what's inside that envelope could actually be very important. I'm promoting it to exactly the right people. When we talk about products, let's also understand that it also includes services. So it could be you offer design services, design bridges, or one that's close to my heart, acoustically performing studios. Product, you need to also define, so you need to be clear on what the product is you're offering. And a couple of issues here. This is nothing about technology. This is putting yourself in the shoes of the customer. What need does the product satisfy? What is the problem it's solving? And secondly, what is the product actually doing that will actually meet those needs? Now, the need might be very, very simple, or it could be very, very complex. And as a marketeer, you have to identify needs and requirements for the product that are crucial and also possibly eliminate any extra ones? Is there anything inherent in the nature that will determine how your product is going to be branded? Does it align strongly with a green ethos, or does it combine strongly with a gender ethos? And also, can it be produced at a cost which will ensure the sale delivers a profit? I'll come on to that one in a second, because it's really scary how poor some very experienced engineers I have worked with could understand that one. Next one's place. Where are you actually going to market this product you're doing? For goods, you may want to consider where the consumers are likely to look for such things. Specialist shops or online. Can you use the existing retail base, or do you need your new operation? And how are you going to service that? And consider the situation of the COVID-19 over the last 9 months. It has totally changed how people market their goods out to the buying public. But even for services, how do you establish a channel with the customer? What can you use, and how can you direct your service to the customer? Price. I talked earlier about some experienced engineers I had worked with in the past, and they seriously considered the price was you took the cost of something, you added a percentage margin, and that was your price. Well, that kind of died out probably in the 1940s. Today, everyone has a value of what they think a mobile phone is worth. Apple shoot for the very high end, and they do get some people buying the iPhone X, which was coming in now close to £1,000. But they discovered that actually that was too expensive. Everyone knows what they're willing to pay for a mobile phone, and that sets a price. If you can produce your mobile phones for less than that price, great, you can make money. If you can produce phones for more than that price, then sorry, the customer knows what they want to pay, and they're only going to pay that, so you're going to lose money. A good way of identifying what price to pick is, can you find similar products? So if we were going into the market of producing mobile phones or producing car tires, anything of that ilk, then you would go into the market and say, well, let's see how much Huawei charge, let's see how much Xiaomi charge, Apple charge, Samsung charge, and we'd decide which segment of the market we're going to go for, and we'd price accordingly. Similarly, in car tires, are we producing budget car tires that have no brand, or do we want to compete against Pirelli? And if we compete against Pirelli, how do we overcome the issue that they are the chosen tire for the Formula One teams? Have you thought about discounts? Are there customers who you should offer discounts for? Perhaps for a mobile phone, you may decide that actually we're going to offer discounts to students. Not because we're being kind and generous, but students are starting out on their spending livelihood. They're likely to get good, high-quality paying jobs, especially if they're studying engineering. And should we actually encourage them to join the new brand mobile phone company rather than go to the existing ones of Apple and Samsung and Huawei, etc.? Can we identify any thought leaders in social media? If you look at YouTube, there are several really good thought leaders that are out there, and they make good money out of encouraging others to look at particular products. Can you plug into these? Can you engage with them so they promote your new product and get their followers to think about buying it as well? Next thing we'll move on to promotion. How can you be sure that the people you want to buy actually know it's available? How do you engage with them and reach your target audience? I considered changing this sentence, and I decided to leave it because it actually reflects the way that the world has changed, probably over approximately 5 years. The print media is still existing, but apart from the airline in-flight brochures, I hardly ever read print. Broadcast still exists, but if we extend broadcast into YouTube and things like that, that's much more interesting. Direct mail, there's only one place that direct mail goes in my house, and that's straight in the bin. I don't even open it. Online, how do we address people online? Is it using YouTube? Is it using online promotions? Is it using Google adverts? When is the best time to promote your product? If you're shooting for adults, then after 9 o'clock watershed might be a good time. However, if you're marketing to children and of school age, then you want to maybe target between 4 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening. Is there anything that affects the use? Trying to sell warm coats in May time is probably not a good idea. Similarly, summer dresses in December is not going to fly. And think about any other factors that might influence timing. Right now, the world is kind of coming out of lockdown. There is a great marketing opportunity there for people if they've got the right product to address that. And also, look at your existing competitors. How are they doing it? If they're in the market already, following their style and their approach may be a good approach to do because it's worked for them, it may well work for you. Can you actually make a difference? Can you move them from the top slot because they're well established, such as Pirelli with the Formula One team? What I've tried to give you is a very high level of marketing and actually how difficult it is. If I consider my career, which has covered marketing and engineering, what I loosely call doing the Ohm's law stuff is trivially easy compared with coming up with marketing strategies and customer engagement strategies. Marketing is a long game, and there's a lot more frogs than princes and princesses that you need to kiss to be successful in your marketing plan for your product. Thank you very much for that. It was very much a whistle-stop tour on what marketing is and why you should consider it. In the next session, we're going to look at why it's important to your particular projects and why you as engineers need to engage with marketeers and become a marketeer yourself. Thank you.